So today we'll be studying about stereoisomerism. Stereoisomerism. So what is a stereoisomerism?
Same molecular formula, same structural
Same
formula.
molecular formula of the atom in a 3D structure.
Okay, so geometric isomers. Okay, so first একটা example of geometric isomers. So this is cis but 2E. Trans but 2E.
স্যার গ্রুপসের পর কি লেখা?
Because their atoms are groups are attached এটা কাটা groups are attached at different positions on opposite sides of a carbon double bond carbon. So this is a compulsory. Geometrical isomerism এর জন্য we have to have a carbon carbon double bond. If your side chains are on the same carbon, if your side chains are in the same carbon, on the same side, so আমি যদি এটাকে আমরা একটা imaginary line আঁকি, imaginary line with a different color. So imagine তুমি এটাকে exactly ওকে হাফ করছো। So imagine you slice the compound into half. So this part is basically এটাকে আরেকটু এটা বেশি So the the CH is above the plane. মানে তুমি যে if this is your cardboard, so cardboard this is the I'm so bad with drawing. Anyways, so if you think about this line, so the CH is above the plane, the CH3 is below the plane. Or you can also draw C double bond C, CH3, CH3, H, H. ওকেও তুমি যদি half করে দাও, so the CH3 is now above the plane. Both of them are above the plane. So above the plane is basically, it's a, if we have a thin piece of paper, if both the groups are on the same side, it could either be above this or it could be below this. If both of them are on the same side, we call it a cis isomer. We call it a cis isomer. The two CH3 groups are both on the same plane, i.e. below the carbon-carbon double bond. Cis means, in Latin, means on this side, meaning on the same side. So this is a cis isomer. Cis isomer, the side chain has to be on the same, has to be on the same side, and it has to have, obviously, it has to have a double bond. Trans means across. Trans means across. So ekhane if you draw a plane, so we can see that the CH3 are in, one is above the paper or above the plane, one is below the plane. So if the side chains are across, we call it trans. We call it trans. But 2. Any question?
Sir, yeah, question. What if they're on the same side vertically? So the plane's always horizontal, মাঝখান দিয়ে.
ভার্টিক্যালটা আমরা তোমাদের সিলেবাসে নাই, কিন্তু আমরা পড়ব ওই যে ইজেড নাম্বারিং, যেটা ইজেড নাম্বারিং, that's তখন it's going to be easier for you.
নেমিং এ কেন ফাংশনাল গ্রুপটা লেখি নাই?
কি ফাংশন গ্রুপ?
ওই CH3 মেনশন করি নাই যে।
So how did you get butene? How did you get butene? 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon. So এই পুরোটাই তো butene. So carbon carbon double bond is at the center. এই দুইটাকে তখন আমরা side chain করে দেই। কারণ আমরা side chain কেন বলছি? It's actually not a side chain. It's a part of the parent chain, but since we are more focused on the carbon carbon double bond, এর জন্য আমরা এটাকে side chain করছি। But it's actually part of the butene chain. It's part of the butene. So we are basically focusing on these 2 carbons. তাহলে এই দুইটা কার্বন কি হবে? এই যে we have just written this. বুঝছো?
জি, বুঝেছি।
So cis cis-trans isomerism can exist in alkenes only, but not in alkenes. This is because there needs to be a carbon double bond carbon for cis and trans isomer to occur. The presence of a carbon double bond carbon leads to restricted movement. So here we have a sigma bond. We have a sigma bond, and sigma bonds can freely rotate. So if we have a hydrogen and if we have a CH3 here, and we have a hydrogen and we have a CH3 here, it can have a 360-degree spin. 360-degree spin, meaning it freely rotates. But if we talk about this alkene, this is a sigma bond and a pi bond. Pi bond, how are pi bonds formed?
সাইড বাই সাইড যখন দুটো অরবিটাল কোলাইড করে
Side by side orbital যখন থাকে, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, side by side আছে. So these are side by side p orbitals. So what p orbitals are lobe shaped. So when you have a double bond, or rotation can only happen at 180 degrees centigrade. Sorry, 180 degrees. The rotation can only take place at 180 degrees. So if there are just two possibilities in case of this, সেটা কি যে either you have a CH3 double bond H CH3. This is option number 1. So either your hydrogen can be here, or if there is a slight restricted rotation around the double bond. If there is a restricted rotation around the double bond, then you have a CH3 here and a H here. This is option number 2. So either the hydrogen can be above this, above the carbon, or the hydrogen can be below the carbon. These are the only two combinations they can form. So what do we name option 1?
cis
Cis butene.
And option 2?
Trans.
trans
Trans. So cis and trans isomerism is normally possible যখন তোমার usually same type থাকে. কিন্তু what about carbon-carbon double bond with H, CH3, HOH? So তখন আমরা কি করি? So তখন it's more convenient to use the EZ naming. EZ naming in order for cis-trans isomerism to take place. The carbon atoms on both ends of the double bond must each be bonded to two non-identical groups. So will this have a cis-trans isomerism?
No.
No, because the carbon is linked to the same group. Will this happen? Will this have a cis-trans isomerism?
No.
হইতে পারে না কেন?
Because
The
on
work-
both sides it's linked to the same group of the same carbon. If this was the opposite thing, তাহলে কি হতো? So this will exhibit cis-trans isomerism, but this will not exhibit geometrical isomerism. তাহলে geometrical isomerism তোমার বুঝতে হলে you have to have a horizontal plane. Horizontal plane. Next is EZ isomerism. So cis-trans isomerism problem kothay? They have to have identical groups. So what about carbon-carbon double bond with a Cl, a Br, a hydrogen, and a fluorine? So we need. So since these are four different functional groups, we need a different system of naming, and that's EZ isomerism. So EZ isomerism, how do we work out? Working out the EZ isomerism. So step number 1, work out the part of the name that can be used for both isomers. Using the IUPAC nomenclature rules. So এটার নাম কি হবে? If এটাকে আমরা যদি এভাবে আঁকি, C double bond C H F Cl Br. So the way I taught you to name name compounds. What will be the name of this? So আমাদের এখানে কি কি function? We have a chlorine, we have a bromine, we have a fluorine, and we have hydrogen. So bromine কে আমরা কি লিখি? ব্রোমো। ক্লোরিন কে আমরা কি লিখি? ক্লোরো।
Chloro.
আর ফ্লোরিন কি কি লিখি? ফ্লোরো।
Fluoro.
আর এটার প্যারেন্ট চেইন কি হবে?
Butene.
বিউট
Eth.
Yes.
Eth2ene.
এথ টুইন। এখানে এখানে তো দুইটা কার্বন।
18.
এথ ইন। সো ব্রোমো, ক্লোরো, ফ্লোরো, এটা নেমিং এর কোন পার্ট? প্রিফিক্স। সো আমরা এখানে প্রিফিক্স কেন লিখছি? why not suffix?
So, isn't this a halo group?
So halo group does not have a suffix, right? It's always the prefix.
Yes.
So while naming it, how do we arrange the functional groups?
So reactivity series?
No. Alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. So এটার নাম হবে 1 bromo। 1 আর ব্রোমোর ভিতরে কি থাকে? একটা ড্যাশ থাকে। তারপর 1 ক্লোরো। ও আচ্ছা, এখন তোমাদের কোয়েশ্চেন, স্যার আপনি এইটাকে কেন ফার্স্টটা নেন নাই? কেন আপনি এইটাকে ফার্স্ট নিছেন বলো তো, কি রুল?
লোকান
112 একটা আর একটা 122।
শাবাশ, লোক এন্ড ট্রু, ভেরি গুড। সো এইটা হবে এখানে সাবস্টিটিউশন হলো 1 1 2 তে, আর এখানে সাবস্টিটিউশন হলো 1 2 2 তে। তাহলে কোনটা নিতে হয়? the first one. এখানে সাবস্টিটিউশন হচ্ছে দুইটা, এই ফার্স্ট কার্বনে দুইটা সাবস্টিটিউশন, আর এখানে ফার্স্ট কার্বনে শুধু একটা সাবস্টিটিউশন। হাইড্রোজেনকে তো আমরা ধরি না, কারণ হাইড্রোজেন ইজ পার্ট, ইটস পার্ট অফ দ্য হাইড্রোকার্বন গ্রুপ। সো তাহলে এইটাকে লোকান রুল দিয়ে এটা কি হবে? 1 1 2, আর এখানে কি হবে? 1 2 2। সো অবভিয়াসলি this has higher priority. আচ্ছা, number 2 point number 2. So use the priority rule, priority rules to decide which of the two atoms on the left of the double bond has the higher priority. Priority is decided by which atom has the higher atomic number. So আমরা যদি left hand side ধরি, hydrogen or fluorine, who has a higher atomic number? Fluorine. So who's in the higher priority list? Fluorine. So fluorine has higher priority. Okay, so step number 3. Find the higher priority atom on the right hand side. So chlorine আছে, bromine আছে. Who is a higher priority?
Bromine.
Higher priority is bromine. Okay, so last is step number 4. So from the left hand side, fluorine was our higher priority, and from the right hand side, bromine is our higher priority. So if both the atoms of high priority, find the higher priority atom on the right hand side. So এখানে দেখো তোমার this carbon is linked to a chlorine and a bromine. So chlorine or bromine, fluorine atomic number কি? Chlorine atomic number is 17. Our bromine is 35. So priority list, whoever has a greater atomic mass or atomic number, whoever has a greater atomic number has a higher priority. So if both the atoms of higher, in this molecule, fluorine and bromine, both are they are both the high priority atoms. So if both the atoms of high priority lie on the same side, মানে either above or below carbon double bond carbon, it is known as Z isomer. So এই যে আমরা যে এখানে যেটা লেখা আছে এটা কি, this is basically a Z isomer. Why? Because both the high priority atoms lie on the same side.
So do you mean same
side.
plane?
Huh?
Do you mean same plane?
Same plane, yeah. এটাকে তুমি যদি অর্ধেক করো তাহলে they lie on the same plane. আচ্ছা, so 4 continued if one of the priority if one of the priority group is above and the other is below the double bond, it is known as E isomer. So carbon carbon double bond, এখানে যদি H থাকে, এখানে যদি F থাকে, এখানে যদি Cl, এখানে হলো Br. So both the priority are on the same side. তাহলে এটা হবে Z isomer. And if they are on opposite side, this is E isomer. So what does Z stand for? So it's derived from German language. Z are E. E means so we'll study a C double bond C, a CH2 OH, a chlorine atom, a CH3, a CH2, CH3. So তোমরা এটা please find out the Z and E isomers. So এখানে দেখো this carbon is linked to, so এটাকে তুমি যদি, this is your left hand side, this is your right hand side. So left hand side, here you have chlorine. Here you have chlorine. Here on this carbon is linked to a Cl and it's linked to CH2 CH3. Do you take the whole thing? No. You always take the first atom which is linked to carbon, first atom. So এখানে তোমার this carbon is linked to a CH2 CH3. So it's a carbon, or atomic number is 6 or atomic number is 17. So who's more higher priority? Chlorine.
Chlorine.
And on this carbon, here it's linked to a carbon which is 6. Here it's also linked to a carbon which is 6. So এটাকে আরেকটু আমরা discrete formula আঁকলে I think it's going to be easier for you. CH2 CH2 CH3 Cl. CH2 OH. CH3. So listen to this. So this carbon is both linked to the same, both linked to carbon. So atom mass is 6, atom mass is 6. But what's the next thing? This carbon is next bonded to what? Hydrogen. Hydrogen mass koto? Sorry, atomic number koto? 1. Our oxygen atomic number koto? 16. So this carbon is linked to this carbon is also linked to this carbon. So this hydrogen, this hydrogen, this hydrogen, this hydrogen. So এখানে দেখো both of them are same carbon. তাহলে there's no high priority list. So এর জন্য we have to move to the next atom. So this carbon is bonded to what? Oxygen. Oxygen atomic number is 16. This carbon is attached to a hydrogen, jar atomic number is 1. So who has a greater priority?
Upper one.
This one. So the high priority list are on the same side or on the opposite side?
Opposite.
তাহলে এটা কি টাইপ অফ আইসোমার? Z আইসোমার নাকি E আইসোমার?
E isomer.
E isomer.
E আইসোমার। তোমরা যে এতটুকু জানো এটা মোর দেন গুড এনাফ, বিকজ তোমাদের A2 A S এ এটা আসে না, A2 তে মাঝে মাঝে